Hello and welcome again to Bioenergy E-Symposium 2020. This presentation is another example of biogas utilization which is located in Indonesia. It was prepared by another member of Bioenergy GCRF team, Dr. Yudha Prambudia. He is from School of Industrial and System Engineering of Telkom University, Indonesia. The content of this presentation includes of some recent development in biogas utilization in Indonesia, such as the biogas program development progress, some updates on the performance and results of the program. Also, some technical aspects of typical biodigester model used in Indonesia will be presented. Then the presentation carries on to some examples of biogas implementation in Indonesia, which includes Selo district in Central Java and Lembang district in West Java. Finally, the presentation will be about the challenges faced during the implementation and their solution. First of all, let's start from the potential of biogas in Indonesia. In Indonesia, there is about 92 million people involved in farming or agricultural industry. The number of households in the industry is about 4.5 million, and in 2002, the world noted an increase of 20% in 3 years. Also, the number of farming groups is around 54,000, and these numbers are increasing throughout the years. In terms of manure as biogas resources, they have about 15.5 million cows, which includes livestock and dairy cows. This is not to mention other kind of livestock that they have, such as goat, lamb, chicken, buffalo, and even pigs in some part of Indonesia. Without any doubt, it is easy to say that Indonesia has a lot of potential in developing and producing biogas nationally. Now that we know the potential of biogas in Indonesia, let's continue to the several reasons why biogas development is beneficial to Indonesia. One aspect is from the health perspective. There are around 24.5 million households in Indonesia, in rural Indonesia, who are depending on firewood for daily cooking activities. There is a link between the use of firewood, or in general known as non-clean energy, that leads to premature death. It is estimated that pollution from non-clean energy is responsible for 5% of premature death in Indonesia. Another aspect is the emission of greenhouse gases. The farming and agriculture industry contributes significantly to greenhouse gas emission, especially methane emitted from cattle manure. As we already know, although methane is relatively small in volume, it is more than 20 times harmful to climate change compared to carbon dioxide. Lastly, from energy security perspective, the use of biogas can reduce the consumption of LPG, which is the current dominant fuel for cooking, especially in Java. Despite its readily availability, the downside of LPG is that it relies heavily on the long supply chain distribution, which actually pose a big risk if something happened to the supply chain. Biogas gives an alternative to LPG, and since biogas is locally produced, it gives an assurance that the energy supply for cooking will always be available domestically. Based on the report of Indonesian Biogas Program, there is a total of about 43,000 digesters by the year 2018, and these consist of around 23,000 constructed by the program, and the rest are built by other independent parties. This includes private companies, individual investors, and individual users. The program itself covers about 12 provinces of Indonesia, with most of development are conducted in Java Island, in some part of the South Sumatra and Sulawesi, and also in Bali and Nusa Tenggara Island. Since the start of the program in 2009, the construction of biodigester is rather dynamic. It started very small number of 62 and then jumped to about 15,000 in the next year, and then is steadily progressing at an average of 2,000 and 3,000 digester per year. An exception in 2016, the number of biogas digester is rather high. This is related to the increase of funding in the corresponding year. The funding was almost doubled, up to 1.1 million euros. In the table, we can see that overall, the government still have a great contribution to the funding. Almost half of the funding came from the government in the form of subsidy. This seems to be a difficult variable to handle in commercialization of biogas. In 2018, the proportion of government subsidy is even more prominent. The government involvement in construction is 78%, with 43% of it is fully funded by the government, while only 12.6% are fully funded by the users, both in cash and credit scheme. Companies and businesses are also take part in this program, although still it takes only a small role of 9.1% in the form of CSR or other funding schemes. This slide shows some technical aspect information about typical biodigester system in Indonesia. Basically, there are 6 main parts to the digester, which are the inlet, the mixing tank, where animal dung is inserted to feed the digester, the reactor, the gas storage or storage dome, outlet, the divider chamber, the gas carrier system, and lastly, the bioslurry pit or the animal dung compost pit, which has been reduced of any gas. It works approximately as follows. A combined mixture of feces and water, which takes place in the inlet or the mixing tank, flows through the pipeline towards the digester. The mixture produces gas through a process of digestion, which takes place in the reactor, and then stored in the gas storage chamber, which is the upper side of the dome. The slurry flows out from the digester towards the outlet and results in what we know as bioslurry that passes through the overflow outlet and is flowed into the slurry pit. Gas is later transported to the kitchen through the pipeline. The Indonesian biogas development model generally consists of the following parts, which is shown in the diagram. In 2018, the cost of construction is roughly about 6 to 10 million rupiah, depending on where the construction is done. The minimal lifetime of this model is 15 years at least. Responding to market demand for more affordable biodigesters, starting from the year 2019, the original dome biodigester design is replaced with polyethylene-based reactor to cut costs of construction. The new model could save up to 70 to 80% of construction costs. This new design will be suitable to match the need of farmers with less affordability due to smaller numbers of required livestock. The design is suitable for using polyethylene material that is easy to find and available all over the country and commonly used as water tank. This new model, named Biogas Menu Rumah, could last for 10 years lifetime with one single burden stove of 50% efficiency level. The design of the biodigester tank will start from 600 liter up to 2000 liter. The smaller one will generate approximately 200 to 300 liter of biogas for 30 to 40 minutes of cooking, while the larger one will generate approximately 500 to 600 liter of biogas for 50 to 90 minutes of cooking. This table shows the comparison of specifications and requirements to construct the original dome biodigester, the Biru, and polyethylene-based biodigester, the Biomiru. We can see in one of the major difference is the labor, and mason requirements, which cuts to only 2 and 4% in total for Biomiru, while in the original dome biodigester, it requires about 17 to 27% and 8 to 18% of masons, depends on the capacity of the dome. We also can see that we don't need much of bricks, sand, gravels, and cements in the new model. Using the new model, it is estimated that the cost of building a biodigester is likely to be just about 3 to 5 million rupiah. The downside, however, is the lifetime is only about 10 years, compared to 15 years of the dome model. Now, let's continue to cases where the biogas program is conducted. One of them is in Selo. Selo is a small agricultural-based village located in Boyolali district, Central Java province, Indonesia. Most farmers here own livestock, predominantly in the form of cows. Next to cow dung, crop residues may also be used in biogas. The program here focusing on small-scale rural biogas adoption. The specific goals in Selo is to reduce the use of firewood for cooking, reduce consumption of LPG, reduce chemical fertilizer, and reduce women's overall workload. The main stakeholders involved are the farmer groups. They are the ones who will purchase, with subsidy, operate, and maintain the biogas system. The local government plays a role in the planning, budgeting, and trainings. The roles are committed by Bapeda, a local planning agency, and Dinas, a local government operational unit. And of course, the local governments are assisted and consulted by NGOs in doing so. In the implementation, acceptance from the farmers are generally high. This is because they virtually pay no cost due to subsidy. What they need to supply are basically readily available to the farmers, such as water, manure, and personnel. Moreover, the trainings are also beneficial for the farmers. Youngsters and women are attending training of biodigesters operation and maintenance, which resulted in high production of biogas and reduced workload. The results of Selo Biogas program are significant. A survey in 2015 shows that 50% reduction of fossil fuels and 30% reduction of workload. The workload mainly concerned with the preparation and use of firewood. This alone shows the benefit of utilization of biogas in Selo. Another success story is from Cibodas village in Lembang district. It is located in Kabupaten Bandung Barat, West Java province, about 150 km east of Jakarta. It is also 1,260 meters above sea level, with 2,959 households. The majority of the households here are cattle farmers, especially dairy cows, so biogas here is generated from dung or manure. The overall goal of biogas program here is to provide alternative fuel to LPG, while the specific goal is related to local environmental issue, which is river pollution. This is because washed cow manure from cattle farms are contributing to river quality. So the biogas program here is the part of provincial effort in maintaining the water quality of Cikapundung River, which passes the village. Similar to Selo case, the main stakeholders here are farmers, but here both individual household and farmer groups are equally important. They operate and maintain about 150 biogas systems in the area. The local government also plays a role in the planning, budgeting, and trainings, and they are assisted and consulted by NGOs. Interestingly, the biogas program here is not directly initiated by the Indonesian biogas program, but by the students who held a creativity week in the village in the form of plastic biogas digester in 2004. The program then developed and supported by local government, and then take off in 2009 as a part of IDBP program until now. Lembang case is a success story in terms of community effort and spirit to change to biogas fuel. LPG is still the dominant fuel for cooking due to its readily availability and cooking hours capacity it carries. Biodigester with 4 to 6 meters square capacity can only provide maximum 2 hours of cooking daily. However, this shows that the community accepts biogas successfully. In terms of river pollution issue, now almost all of the manures from the farm are not washed away to the river because they are redirected to biodigesters. Despite of all the successful implementation, there are still challenges in certain aspects. From the governance aspect, probably the most important issue is the need for national biogas development planning, which is politically and nationally committed by the government. If this is in place, the budget issue will likely to be easier to solve. From the market aspect, the LPG is still deemed cleaner, easier to get and maintain, and maybe no maintenance at all. Also, when LPG is out of gas, it is easier to buy another one rather than worrying about the bottles or vessel for biodigester. Another issue is subsidized digester construction, which hinders the majority of potential users to build by themselves. This is because they tend to wait for government subsidy. As a way forward, there is a need of definitive national commitment for biogas expansion, promote soft or friendly financial scheme as alternative to subsidy, and lastly, there is a need to strengthen vertical coordination between stakeholders to advance biogas promotion and buy-in. That is all from Dr. Yudha Prambudia. For more inquiries, you may contact him through the contact details shown in the slide. Thank you for watching and thank you for your attention.